What does Netanyahu and the Zionist cruel state, yes, I'm not afraid, want to do? They want to finish Palestine. They don't want there to be a Palestine. The interesting about that, though, is that Abraha had announced his plan. It's not secret, right? He was going to attack the Kaaba. But what does that tell you? That means that open plan had a secret plan behind it. The motivation was more than just that. He was going to attack the Kaaba, but there was more to it than just that. Maybe he wanted to take over the Arab, maybe he wanted to install something else, and so on, not just to take revenge. The decimation of Al-Qulais was only the pretense for him to carry out his secret plan. And that's not something new. How many of you remember WMDs? What, that short of a memory? You guys already forgot? How many of you remember WMDs? Oh my God, you guys are young. All right, there you go, brother. Some white in the beard, you remember it. WMDs was the excuse given by President Bush to attack Iraq, that there were weapons of mass destruction. Oh, now you remember, right? And somebody who, interestingly, is in the news right now, Tony Blair, was one of the people that went to the UN and was like, there are weapons, and Powell had his pictures and satellites of, taco trucks or something, and they were like, these WMDs exist. And then they were like, no WMDs. So the WMDs wasn't really the thing. It was just a pretext, an excuse to go and take over something that was very valuable to America, and he had 710 reasons. Just flip that backwards. Anybody? 710. Oil, there you go, mashallah. Huh? So, mashallah, man. You're getting there. The foolish person laughs twice. Once when everybody laughs and once when he gets it. All right. So, this is very, very important. And for us to understand, because we don't want to look at the Quran just as historic. We want to look at it in our life today. October 7th was a pretext. This is not something that, okay, this is the reason. No, it's just a pretext. But there is a cave. There is a plot, a much more sinister plot at hand. But remember this, that whatever plot and cave they make, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will destroy it. Right? And that's what happened here. Fi tadlil, interestingly and linguistically, he didn't say that, don't you know how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made their plan not work? No. Dalala is when you go astray. Kullu bidatan dalala. Tadlil. It made it go astray. It went opposite to what they wanted to do. So what does Netanyahu and the Zionist cruel state, yes, I'm not afraid, want to do? They want to finish Palestine. They don't want there to be a Palestine. They want to take over even Arabia. They want it to be all greater, whatever, right? But what happened now? Countries are recognizing Palestine as a country. See, it flips the script on it. What did Abraha want to do? He wanted to finish the Kaaba. He wanted his Qulais to be the sanctity that's honored and respected. But what did it do? The opposite. The Arabs said, no, this is Baytullah. They honored it more. They respected it more. They even used to respect the Quraysh because they said these are Ahlullah. These are the people of Allah that Allah protected. And even though they were mushrikeen, but they saw the power of Allah, so they respected Baytullah and Mecca more than before Abraha had left Yemen. So Allah took their kaid and made it to go opposite to what they planned. He could have destroyed the army in Yemen. Allah could have brought an earthquake that would have swallowed the whole army. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed them to reach Mecca, to humiliate them, to disgrace them. Sometimes when you look at somebody, they say the good die young. That's a saying in America. I mean, not necessarily. In Islam, we believe sometimes the good live. But the evil people, many times Allah gives them a long life. And we're like, man, that guy's so evil. Why is he still alive? Allah is allowing them to put that hujjah on themselves. You know, when you have a dog and you put him on a small leash, like on a small rope, and he can't really go far, he just barks, sits down. But if you give him a long rope and he thinks he can get to whoever he's going after, so he runs after that thing, and then right when he's about to, he gets yanked back, that's when he feels disgraced. That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let Abraha get to Mecca and destroyed him in Mecca. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after destroying them, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says? وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلَ. Arsala, not ata, not came. It's not like just some stones came. Arsala. They were sent with purpose. It's not a natural phenomenon. They were there and an earthquake happened, or there was an eclipse and they got scared, or there was a big storm, so the water kind of made it, they couldn't go. Some of the people of weak iman, they make everything into like not a miracle. You see some of these Abu Qitta online and all these people, they call themselves Layth, but they're like, nah, there's no miracles. But they're little kittens, right? Who found out when they came to his house and he ran out the door. So, when you have these people, they make everything into just a natural. Musa alayhi salam, when he was going, it was just low tide. There's no miracle, just low tide. Like, why would that be in the Quran then? The moon didn't split, it was just, eclipse or maybe a meteorite hit it. No. Sahih hadith, split into two pieces, people saw it between the mountains, came back together. Miracle. Power of Allah. And if your iman is too weak, that's your problem, but we believe in it. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Arsala, they were sent specifically, alayhim. Him here, and if you take it without the ala before it, hum. And it's not majroor, by the way. That's Damair don't take jar and so on. This has to do with the way you speak. Alayhum doesn't sound right. That's why in some qiraat it is alayhum. But in the regular qiraat that we use today, it's alayhim. Upon them, not upon Mahmud or the elephant, but upon that army. The damir is for the ashab. Tayran, and we talked about this before, different types of bird. Many of the Sahaba described the birds. And in the Tabari, you will find narrations from Sahaba and Tabi'un that mentions about their big claws. Some of them mentions like different features, like heads look like donkeys and so on. But most of these are not direct eye descriptions. They are from what the people had mentioned, because Ibn Abbas, for example, wasn't alive at that time. But what we do know, that they were sent specifically with 3 stones per bird in each claw and the beak. What did they hit them with? Tarmihim. And again, it shows that they were striking or targeting them. Bihijaratim min sijil. With small stones, hijara. As the Sahaba, in authentic narrations, explained, the size of a chickpea. These weren't boulders. Allah could have brought boulders out from the ground and smashed them. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to show His quwwah, to show His power, He destroys the powerful with the weak. He uses the weak to destroy the powerful. To show you that it's not the person or the army or the bird or the stone, but the power of Allah. So a small pebble like a chickpea, bigger than a linseed and the size of a chickpea, mentioned in the statements of Sahaba, is very small. But it hit them such by the power of Allah that it decimated them. How? فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ. It made them how? Like eaten straw. What does that mean? If you ever watch a cow, for example, being fed, and they take the feed, whether it's hay or whatever else, they take the feed. When you take the feed, it looks all right. It's like a stack or whatever. But when that animal, that bull or cow or whatever cattle, eats it and decimates it, he just destroys it, and then just scatters little pieces all over the place, is decimated. They look like that. They were made like that. Meaning when they were hit by those small stones. Now, Sijil, many of the linguistic scholars, they said that this comes from two words that were originally Farsi words that were brought into the Arabic language about a baked clay. Other ulama said that this comes from what Arabs used to take a rock and put clay and then bake it in an oven. But we do know that these were small rocks with baked clay. And as Al-Dahak and Al-Mujahid and Ibn Abbas and Ibn Masud and many of the Sahaba have clear narrations that these were sent specifically for each person with the name of the person, targeting and hitting that person. And they said this is the same that was done with Qawm Lut, the punishment of Allah. And it would hit them on their head and would go through their bodies, entering out of their anus. And after it exited, it didn't just finish. It caused the body to have blisters and burst and disintegrate and flesh to peel off. It was like some of that crazy chemical warfare that didn't exist at the time as a miracle. But many of these soldiers, they continued to live walking around with their flesh falling off.